Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Barakatah Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, welcome to another lesson. And pretty much, it's like a little dark in here, so we're trying to get some light enough. But yeah, come on. And pretty much, we're just gonna do like a quick little sit down on brotherly love and maybe a couple of other things that may come up. Because when you're dealing with this truth, the brotherhood is very important, and that's something that certain guys forget about. They forget about the brotherhood and the two greatest commandments. The first being, love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. And a lot of guys tend to forget that. Now the scriptures say to deny yourself, and certain guys just read scriptures like that and they just push that to the side. Yahweh Shai was the ultimate example. When he came on the scene, he totally denied himself for the purpose of teaching and guiding and feeding the men that the Lord Yahweh gave to him. And then when you read the book of John, the 17th chapter, that was pretty much a prayer for the elect, beginning with the apostles. That was his whole purpose. There was things, Yahweh Shai could have went a different route, because he said, that the Lord gave him, the Most High gave him the ability to lay down his life, and he gave him the ability to take it back. But for the sake of us, he laid his life down. So that's true brotherhood, and a lot of guys, are in that me, and I, spirit, where they're not looking at the body. They're just looking at their individual self, being selfish, and that's not going to cut it in this knowledge. So, you know what? You have something?
No.
All right, let's start off with Hebrews, the 13th chapter, and the first verse. And like I said, we're going to hit a couple of points, and it might go into a few other points, outside of just the brotherhood, but this brotherhood is very important, man. We're coming down to the point where, this devil's about to come down hard, on all the believers, and things are going to get nasty out here, So the only solution to that is to remain firm in this truth, hold on to the knowledge that we've learned, pray fervently to Yahweh Yahweh Shai and ask him to guide us in these trying times that are coming, because it's going to get real nasty out here, man. We ain't seen nothing yet. So far we've just been speaking about hardships and things to come. We've all been through hardships and lost, substances in this truth. But the times that are coming is going to be real. It's going to be some real heavy stuff going down, because you got to remember, this devil is pushing for his new world order, this agenda. And the agenda that he has, if you're not down for it or part of it, he wants to eliminate you. He wants to basically eliminate us. So it's going to take divine intervention from Yahweh Yahweh Shai to step in and protect us and guide us. Like the scripture say in Psalms 34, that the angels of the Lord encamp around them that fear him to deliver them. All right, so go to Hebrews 13:1.
This is Hebrews 13:1.
And these are basic scriptures that brothers are supposed to know, but for some reason they leave those basic principles of the truth and of the knowledge, that are the basic fundamental building block scriptures of building block scriptures of the knowledge, and they tend to swerve in another direction, into another lane that they don't belong in. So go ahead, brother.
This is Hebrews 13:1. Let brotherly love continue.
Yeah, so it says, let brotherly love continue. Now, I'm not sure if that word for brotherly love is, agape, or if it's something to do with philo. So I'm going to pull that up real quick. in the book of Hebrews. Just bear with us 1 second. Hebrews 13 and 1. Let's see. It says, let brotherly love continue. Yeah. The word for brotherly love is Philadelphia. You know, like you had a church called the Church of Philadelphia. So pretty much that's what brotherly love is. Because Phila or Philo is brother. And I'm sorry, Phila or Philo is love. And Delphia is brother, if I'm not mistaken. Just bear with me 1 second. Philos is brother, right?
Yeah.
Friend, yep, friend, associate, like brother.
Yeah.
And Delphus has to be Adelpho is a brother. Philo is love, and Adelph or Delpha is brother. So brotherly love. You know, when you put it all together, you know, I haven't gone over the word in a while, so, but the word basically breaks down to brotherly love. You know, so it says let brotherly love, and then it also says continue. You know, it doesn't mean to do it for a little while and then forget, you know, about it, and then, you know, you don't have to do it anymore. The Greek word there is Greek G3306 meno, which means to remain, abide, in reference to place, to sojourn, tarry, not to depart, to continue, to be present, to be held, kept continually. So really, brotherly love is supposed to be kept continually. You know, it's not a thing of just for a little bit. When you come into this knowledge, you know, the love that you have for brothers is supposed to be unconditional. You know, as long as the brother is doing the right thing. You know, because sometimes brothers fall into hard times. You know, and then there'll be some brothers that might do a little better and help each other. And sometimes the one brother that was in hardships and was being helped by brothers, the Lord may bless him, and he might turn around and help another brother that's in dire needs now that already helped him at one time. You know, but some guys don't think like that. Some guys have that selfish attitude, you know. So let's go from there to Psalms 133 and start at 1. And pretty much the brotherhood and brotherly love is supposed to be something that's done among like-minded brothers, not among these people that's out in the world or among other, just because a guy knows he's a Hebrew Israelite but he teaches a different doctrine. That ain't got nothing to do. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Our only brothers are the ones that's teaching like we're teaching. You know, like-minded brothers that's teaching the same doctrine, the same things that we're teaching, fighting for the same reasons that we're fighting, defending the same doctrine that we're defending, and the same gospel that we're defending. So go ahead, brother.
This is Psalms 133, 1. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Right, how beautiful and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Now that part of that unity is talking about, mainly, is talking about this knowledge. You know, this truth, this gospel, because there's only one truth. At the end of the day, there's only one truth. There's only one doctrine. There's only one baptism. There's only one of this knowledge, one of this truth, not 2 or 3 or 4. You know, and let's put aside our differences for the sake of coming together. You know, because we are Israelites, we shouldn't let the differences of doctrines and opinions separate us. No, that's got nothing to do with it. Matter of fact, go from there to 2 Corinthians, the 6th chapter, and start at the 14th verse. You know, because there's a big misconception, and Great Millstone has people give us a bad name and a bad connotation because we don't want to just get along with everybody just to get along. This truth is not about getting along just to get along. If that's the case, why didn't the Pharisees and them will come to Yahushua? Why didn't Yahushua just get along with them? Why didn't he just say, you know what? You guys are Israelites, you know, we should come together. You know, although you guys are teaching something different than what I'm teaching, we should just come together for the sake of the unity of the brotherhood, so we can show everybody out there that we're sticking together. No. Yahushua cursed them out and told them they were going to die in their sins. He told them that they were of their father the devil. You know, but they were Israelites. You know, so that whole thing about just getting together, just get along, man, to hell with that. It's about the doctrine. If you have the same doctrine, if we are of the same mind, beautiful. If not, then we can't do nothing for you, man. You know, we got to move on. Like High Priest Jacob used to say, we got to move on. Go ahead, brother.
Khan, this is 2 Corinthians 6 and 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers.
Right, so don't be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Yoke is what? When you walking together in unity with a brother, that's a yoke. We're yoke yoke servants or prisoners of Yahweh Shai, because we're yoked. This truth brings us in captivity to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, and we're prisoners of hope. We're the prisoners of Yahweh Shai. So when you when you're in a prison is comprised of many different cells and many different prisoners that are in there. So the body is a body of prisoners. So when we walking together and we yoke together and we walking with the chains on us, we're supposed to be walking with the chains and be yoked up with somebody that's of the same mind, of the same doctrine, and of the same mindset that we are. We're not supposed to just hang out with somebody and just accept them because they are Israelites or because they know that they're Israelites and they're teaching a total different doctrine. For example, you got guys out there that are still teaching that Cornelius is an Edomite. You got guys out there that are still teaching that the mark of the beast is an embargo or Christianity or whatever else the hell they're talking about. You know? So we ain't supposed to be dealing with people like that. You know? We're supposed to be dealing with like-minded people as ourselves, the same mind and the same doctrine, because this doctrine is what's going to deliver us. Like it says in James, receive the engrafted word which is able to save your soul. You know? So if you're going off in a different direction, the Lord can't do nothing for you. Why do you think he was cursing out the different churches in Asia Minor? Because they had the doctrine, they were going on the right path, but they had different things that they were doing that was not according to the scriptures, that were not according to the doctrine. So he cursed them out and told them, look, you either fix that or I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to get rid of you.
Okay.
You know? Go ahead, brother.
It says, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers, for what fellowship had righteousness with unrighteousness?
What? Right. What fellowship had righteousness with unrighteousness? Because if you're not teaching this truth in the fullness and sincerity and truth of it, then you come in unsincere. You're not sincere. You know? You come in with wickedness. You come in with guile. That's what the scriptures speak about, the men of the Lord that were virgins that had no guile in their mouth. There was no guile found in their mouth. Why? Because they taught the doctrine the correct way. You know, they didn't use the knowledge for gain. They didn't use the knowledge to rip brothers off or to rip people in the world off. You know, they didn't use the knowledge to try to get women. You know, you know, although, you know, sometimes you see a woman that you like, you may, you know, talk to her and say certain things in the scripture just to, you know, to get her on your side or whatever, but not to do it in wickedness, man. Because you got guys out there to this very day that are using the scriptures and being wicked about it, man. You know, look, the scriptures speak about you got to have a good report. You know, so although they hate our guts and they say this and that about us, but as far as our conduct and the way we conduct ourselves and the way that we move about in the world, so to speak, people can't say nothing bad about us because they have not witnessed any wrongdoing that we're doing. They're just mad because we speak and teach the truth, and the truth has no part in them, and the truth is offensive to them. But as far as our actions, we're not doing things that these niggas in the world are doing. You know, we're walking that straight path to the best of our ability. Go ahead, brother.
Khan.
If you got any scriptures, you can bring them out.
Okay. It says, and what communion had light with darkness?
Right. And what communion had light with darkness? Go ahead.
And what concord had Yahushai with Belial?
Right, and what concord has Yahushua with Belial? The word concord, con is with and cord is heart. So with heart, or what mental thought or connection does Yahushua have with the devil? You know, none. You know, so you ain't supposed to have those connections or that unity or that bond with anybody outside of this. Now, if you have a friend in the world that helps you monetarily, you know, and you may try to teach them the scriptures, or you may not. You know, that's a different story. But as far as just hanging out with them, just to hang out with them, going everywhere with them, nah, man. You know, scriptures say, make you friends of the mammon of the world. Use the world as not abusing it, but doesn't mean that you have to be there with them in everything that they get into. You know, because the majority of people out here in the world, they're into straight up wickedness, man.
Okay.
You got something?
No, I was gonna finish
So
this
we
up.
don't. Yep.
Yeah, kind of. Or what part had he that believeth with an infidel?
Right. So if you have a brother that believes and you have a person that doesn't believe, there's no connection there. You know, because there's going to be a conflict of interest. Because you're going to go somewhere, you're going to do something, and he's going to want to do something that's off, and you're not going to want to do that. And there's going to be that friction, because he's going to look to you like, why you don't want to do this? You know, let's go eat some pork. Let's eat this ham sandwich, or let's rob this bank or whatever. You know, and you're going to be like, nah, we can't do that. That's going against the scriptures. He'd be like, the scriptures? What you talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Kind of.
So it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
You know.
Kind of.
Go ahead.
You're not in the spirit.
That's right. And then just because they know that just because they're Israelites, don't make them the Israel of the Most High. You know, like you got different guys out there that's hanging out with the black unconscious community. You hanging out with whatever Muslims or whatever Zizi Moors or whatever the hell they're into. You know, man, that's off, man. You ain't supposed to be dealing with that. You know, you're supposed to be dealing with this truth, with this knowledge, teaching this word. You know, you ain't supposed to be mixing it up with these guys. You know, because it don't matter if they're Israelites or not, because if that was the case, then Yahweh Shai would have had a banner for everybody, all Israelites follow me. And he didn't have that. So go ahead, bro.
Okay. And what agreement had the temple of Yahweh with idols?
Yep, go ahead.
For ye are the temple of the living power, as Yahweh had said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their power, and they shall be my people.
That's right.
So we're supposed to be separate, you know. That's why the apostle was just saying, you know, you can't really hang around with a lot of people in the world because they're into a bunch of worldly stuff, and those worldly demons are things that could eventually, you know, affect your walk in this truth.
That's right.
You know, and we're not in a time where, you know, you need too many distractions around you, man. You know, you gotta really try to be focused and keep certain like-minded men around you, because it's literally, you know, it's a jungle out there, as they say. It's dangerous in Babylon, you know, and any day the Most High can bring judgment on this place. You know, we just had the eclipse last night.
Yep.
And when you go all over social media, or, you know, you're just looking around, people, they're really just looking at it as just another, you know, event. You know, like just, you know, like, oh, we bought goggles and that was so cool, and they're not taking into consideration the you know, the Most High. You know, these people are of a complete different mind. So that's why, you know, it's imperative that you stay around like-minded men, and, you know, and that's why brotherly love is so important. You know, because you gotta cherish this, man.
That's right. All right, so let's go from there. Go to Matthew 12 and 46, and get another couple of scriptures, and then close it out. You know, because pretty much, you know, the brotherhood, you know, you either understand it or you don't. You either uphold it or you don't. You know, but you know, seeing that we have this knowledge, you know, we teach about different things. You know, the main thing we're teaching about now is prophecies. You know, but there's still lessons that are done, you know, like the Apostle Tar, Apostle Gabar, and Elder Sakaran on the way to camp this week. They went into the book of Ezekiel, the 2nd and 3rd chapter, you know, concerning prophecies, concerning eating the whole roll and things of that nature. I mean, I didn't get a chance to watch it yet, but I'm going to watch that, you know, Lord's will, because, you know, these are the times we're living in. So you're going to have different topics that you could hit on, but you better believe that the majority of things that's going to be coming out is about the microchip, and about these different prophecies, martial law, and everything, or things of that nature, because that's the times we're living in.
Right.
You know, and you got guys out there that's all you guys talk about is a microchip. Yeah, because that's what's out. But if you look at the different videos, every brother out there in Great Millstone is not doing a video on the microchip.
Right.
You know, They're doing videos on different topics, different things. You know, but you could better believe if you go to pretty much all the different Great Millstone camp pages, you're going to see videos on the Mark of the Beast, which is a microchip, because that's the times we're in, and that's part of brotherhood too. Because if you warning the people, you giving them a stiff warning, or you admonishing them about these things to come, that's true brotherhood also. That's what Yahushua did to them. He said, look, when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, know that the desolation thereof is near, then let him which be in Judea flee to the mountains. You know, that's brotherhood, that's brotherly love, giving that warning. So go ahead, brother.
Khan, this is Matthew 12 and 46. While he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brethren stood without, desiring to speak with him.
Right, so this is Yahushua's mother, Mary, and his actual blood relatives, his blood brothers and blood sisters. They came to where he was teaching, and they wanted to speak to him. Said, look, tell Yahushua you want to speak to him. You know, so let's see what he said, because they're Israelites. That's his mother, those are his blood relatives. Go ahead.
Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren?
Right, so he told him, who is my mother and who are my brethren? He didn't just quickly say, you know what, Salaki brothers, I got to stop what we're doing because my mother's out there, my brothers and sisters out there, I got to go see what they want. Nah, he stopped and he told the congregation that he was teaching, he said, who is my mother and who are my brethren? Go ahead.
Khan says, and he stretched forth his hand toward his disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brethren.
Right, so he looked at the disciples that were with him and he said, behold, my mother and my brethren. Go ahead.
For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
Right, so whoever doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and mother and sister. You know, so this is where it's at. It's about the brotherhood. It's about who's doing the work. That's who our real family is. Those that are doing this work. Now go from there to, is there more on that?
No.
Okay, go from there to St. John 8 and start at 28.
28, okay. This is St. John 8 and 28. Then said Yahushua unto them, when ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself.
Right, so he was speaking to them about the crucifixion, you know. He said, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then you'll know that it is I. Because what happened, when after Yahushua was crucified, he said, it is done. Once he gave up the Spirit, what happened? There was a great earthquake, the temple and the veil rent, you know, the veil and the temple rent. You know, people, there was a big earthquake, people that were in the graves came out of the graves. Because that represented a great awakening at that time. Because Yahushua at that point broke the 7 seals. And got to the understanding of the knowledge that we have today. He's the one that was actually able or worthy to get to the understanding of this knowledge so that it could be opened up to us because it was sealed. That's brotherhood. No? Greater love has no man that he laid down his life for his brother. You know, that's true brotherhood. You know, denying yourself. You know? Now, I'm not saying that that you're going to have to lay down your life for every little situation, but it's different. There's different things in the brotherhood you could do. If a brother's hurting, you be there monetarily. If a brother is hungry and you got food, you know, you feed him. Okay. You know, if a brother's sick or in the hospital or something, you go visit him, find out how he's doing. You know, check in on him, see how he's doing. If you feel that you offended a brother, call the brother up, say, hey brother, you know, I have a feeling that I offended you, or I heard that you felt offended by me. You know, I just want to make sure that everything is right. You know, Salaki, whatever I did, just let me know whatever I could do to make it right. Yeah. You know, that's all part of the brotherhood, man. You know,
communication.
Yeah, communication, all of that. You know, and sometimes being a brother, sometimes you're gonna have to get down on the guy hard. You know, and just for his benefit. That's what the scriptures say. Rebuke a wise man and he will love thee.
Okay.
But if you rebuke a scorner, he's going to hate you. Why? Because he's going to look at you, at the man.
Right.
You know? Because I'm going to say this, there's a lot of guys still in Great Millstone and in other camps that are just carnal men. They really don't know or understand how the Spirit works.
Okay.
Everything that they do is all based about the man, whatever they see with their fleshly eyes. That's what they look at. They're not looking at the greater picture, you know, and the message that's being sent by the Holy Spirit. You know? Why? Because they got a problem with, because I don't like the way you talk to me, you know. Yeah, well, sometimes a man got to get down and hard on you so you can see what the hell you're doing, because obviously they try to tell you in a more subtle way, or try to tell you in a more softer tone, so to speak, and you ain't listening. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, brother.
Okay.
And that's why they hated Yahushua so much, because he was so blunt in everything that he said. And every time the prophets came, they were blunt, and they told him straight up, because it was the Spirit of the Lord that was upon him, and that's why they killed the prophets, and they killed Yahushua because they didn't accept the admonishment and the correction that was coming from Yahweh himself. Go ahead.
Okay.
It says, Then said Yahushua unto them, When ye have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall ye know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father, which had taught me, I speak these things.
Right, so Yahushua was speaking things in the Spirit, which only the men that was in the Spirit could see. That's why he always said, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear what the Spirit saith. Not because you got ears upside your head and you're hearing the words. No, you actually understand and see beyond the words. You see what's really the real message that's being brought by the Spirit and not just by the man. You know? Go ahead, bro.
And he that sent me with Salakia, and he that sent me is with me, the Father had not let me alone.
Right. You know, and that's why Yahushua said the carnal mind is enmity with the Most High, because they cannot receive the things of the Spirit. Go ahead.
It says, and he that sent me is with me, the Father had not let me alone, for I do always those things that please him.
Yep.
As he spake these words, many believed on him.
Right. And as he spake these words, it said many believed on him. Go ahead.
Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
So he didn't say just because you're Israelites, you're going to be saved. He said, read that again.
He says, Then said Yahushua to those Jews which believed on him, If ye continue in my word, then are ye my disciples indeed.
Right, so if you continue in my word, then are you my disciples indeed. See? So that's all part of the brotherhood, man. Continuing on the things you've heard and learned and has been assured of and know who you learned them from. You know, helping brothers out when they need help. You know, and it's not always necessarily have to be monetarily or something physical. Sometimes a brother might need you to just talk, you know? Might just need to talk to you, yeah. Hey bro, how you doing, man? Hey brother, I'm just, just going through some situations here. I'm just trying to, trying to figure out what to do. He might just need advice from you. You know, and it might be something that you have experience in that you could help him out. You know? So it's basically, the brotherhood, man. Either you have the brotherly love or you don't. When you read the book of 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, it speaks about charity. Some guys are great they have much understanding. They have great memory. They can quote everything. They can remember all different types of history and all different types of things. But when it comes to that true and pure charity, they don't have that. You know? So really, it's just like the scriptures say. It's just like, how does it go? Let me just get that real quick. It's the very first verse. 1 Corinthians 13. It says, Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I am become as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. So in other words, it's just like a clang, you're just making noise. Like you could take an instrument and play beautiful music on it, or you could somebody that doesn't know how to play the instruments start playing with the instrument and it sounds like just some noise. So if you don't really have that charity or that brotherly love, then you know you just like a instrument that somebody that doesn't know how to play it is just making noise with it, you know. And it's not just about going out there and just being able to learn every breakdown, every scripture in the Bible. It's also your actions and applying what you've learned, you know. And the two greatest commandments, once again, is love the Lord thy power with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and love thy neighbor as thyself. For on these two is fulfilled the prophets and the law. You know? No, you have anything else, brother?
No,
That was it?
Yeah.
All right, so with that, we're going to say Shalom, and I hope you brothers have been edified by this lesson. Shalom.